Hello again and welcome to another deer stalking gear review, again with me, Harry, and Tom. Today we are talking about gloves, specifically the SealSkinz, I think they're just called the shooting gloves. We talked about gloves a little while back on the Deercast podcast. We've been sort of chatting about them on Instagram and things like that, just trying to work out sort of, you know, what are the best, what are the worst. We've tried a few bits and bobs. I have been recommended the Mac Wet gloves that I have here by I think quite a few people on the stalking directory and people on sort of Facebook groups seem to rant and rave about them. And whilst they might be quite good in the summer, but I have to say,
just when you want gloves.
Well, maybe to kind of hide your white hands or something. I mean, I just felt they did nothing for me in terms of warmth or comfort or anything. And as soon as you get them wet, semi-ironically, they are useless. I found.
There's nothing to them really.
No, they are very thin. And for the money, they're about £30.
Really?
It's not a lot for your £30, I don't think.
No.
Maybe I was expecting too much, people having recommended them, but I just didn't feel that they were very good. So Tom had been using the SealSkinz gloves for quite a while and recommended I buy some, so I've got myself some here. Tom, you've had yours for what, 7 or 8 years? Something like that?
Yeah, they are still going strong, amazingly. They're probably one of the only bits of kit I've actually had for that amount of time that is still in pretty much the same sort of condition I bought it in. At the same time, you were sort of kind of going through the glove search, and I probably didn't actually realise how good these were, because I still sometimes will get cold hands, so I thought, well, maybe these aren't the answer, and Harry asked me what I'd used, and I said these. And I suppose 9 times out of 10 I'm perfectly happy, but the occasional time I'll get really cold hands, and maybe that's just because I've been sat still in the high seat for too long, and no matter what the gloves are made out of, I still get cold hands. So I recommended you try these. You bought a pair, and they've been up to Scotland recently, so they've had a good testing.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a week in Argyll with them on the Hinds, and a fair amount of wind and rain, and quite cold, sort of even some snow up on the top of the hills. Sort of crawling through that, everything you could put them through, and I have to say they kept my hands pretty warm. I mean, you're always moving when you're up there, so you don't have the same problem as like sitting in a high seat where you get cold hands. But no, these were absolutely invaluable, especially in the rain actually, because I find it's very windy up there, so you get wet, you get very cold, you get cold hands very quickly. I was very, very impressed with them.
I'm very jealous because my sort of 7-year-old ones, on each hand you've got a bit to pull back the trigger finger, to expose the trigger finger I should say, and on my old version, so when you pull the bit back to expose the trigger finger, you can stick the bit back with a bit of Velcro, but on Harry's smart new ones you do the same.
Hang on, get them on. You do the same, and there is a little neodymium magnet,
which does
much quite well.
Much better, because not only is it silent, but I have found with the Velcro ones, they have just collected a lot of crud over the years in them that you just then really struggle to get out. So, and then the Velcro just becomes sort of less and less effective. Pretty minor gripe, because it still works after 6-7 years, so it can't be that bad. But it's nice to see that they're constantly sort of improving products and bits and pieces.
They basically kept the rest of the design, though. As far as I can see, pretty much the same. They've got like a leather sort of front and a sort of materially back. They've kept the sort of fleecy thumb element that we were just talking about, which is
it's a bit embarrassing, but on both thumbs you have got a sort of softer fleecy bit, which I think when I first got them I was like, why on earth have they put that there? But actually, when you're out stalking and your nose starts to run, and you're not going to get, well, you might not even have one with you, but you're not going to get a tissue out and start blowing your nose. Actually, I feel bad doing it, especially now on camera forever. But you just wipe your nose and that's it. It's great. They're really, really good.
Yeah, I have to say. They are washable.
Yeah.
If you're worried about that sort of thing, I mean, I don't think you particularly are, but if you are, you can chuck them in the wash. So, yeah, but aside from the magnet element, they seem to remain fairly the same, and I have to say that they've been bloody good. And the fact that you've still got them 7 years later, and we were just comparing them actually to see, how they've worn, and they've held up really well.
Yeah.
There's no cracking or anything in the leather.
No.
They're still warm. There's nothing ripped.
No.
Amazing, really, that a product has lasted that long. So, I think we can pretty much fully endorse.
I was going to say probably the biggest kind of length test that I've ever done of anything. I would wholeheartedly endorse them. And interesting enough, so you paid 30 quid ish for the Mac Weight gloves.
Yeah, 30 quid.
For these ones which are streets ahead, 40 quid did you say?
Yeah,
So
40 quid.
Well, when it's going to last you 6-7 years and give you warm, dry hands, worth every single penny.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I paid for these originally, but yeah, 40 quid these days, that's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. So there you go, guys. If you want warm, dry hands whilst you're out stalking, then these seem to be the way to go. Let's hope Harry's pair give him as much service as these ones have given mine. Thank you very much. Catch you soon.